9:23 AM, day 2, Canberra's 11 degrees Celsius here at Bush Channel. That's the new Garmin InReach Mini you're looking at. That's our most recent gear upgrade item. The satellite phone, satellite texting device communicator. On this misty morning in the mountains. And just holding the camera on this direction, Canberra's. Can you see the slight mishap we had last night? You probably can by now. We're lucky it wasn't a larger branch. Look at that. That stick. Wow, probably only weighs 150 grams. Must have landed sharp end down, poked a hole through the hillyberg. Not to worry, I'll be able to fix that with a piece of Gorilla Tape. It's only a small hole. Could have been much worse. Could have been a big log. That's where it came from. It's one of the risks of camping in the dense bushland. There's trees everywhere, man. So we're packed right up here. We've got in the green bag the equivalent of about 8 kilos of fruit and veggies, all freeze-dried down to 800 grams. Look at that. Freeze-dried fruit and vegetables, man. So we can really keep our health up while we're out here at the Bush Channel Isolation Zone. That's what your butane burner looks like, Canberra's, with the conveyor adapter on the bottom. There's the conveyor adapter on its own. You can see that slight damage to the tent from the inside. This is the tape I'll be using once we dry the tent out, just to fix that hole. Got a couple of rolls of it because each roll was almost finished. So just a small piece on the inside and then possibly a small piece also on the outside of the vestibule fabric. Fix that hole. There's that black piece of Tarzan grip tape, just sealing up the tent temporarily. Bunkered down, Canberra's, on day 3. It's absolutely bucketing down with rain. Today will be a full day of rest. This is normal. You can see all the leaves that have landed on the tent during the rainy night. Leaves are okay. We definitely don't want sticks. Potential snow forecasted. That's that symbol on the left side. 3 degrees Celsius, man. One thing to be careful of inside the hillyberg, and this applies to almost any tent, and that is avoid letting your sleeping bag touch the side walls. You can end up with a bit of slight condensation on the side walls of the tent, and it's particularly true at the back end of this tent. Christina's toes just touching there. Move your feet there. Although, because we're in such a windy spot, we're not really copping that much condensation. If you can see See the daylight underneath the tent fly there? That's all the air coming through, just drying us out. There's a tiny bit of condensation on the inside of the fly, but not a major amount. Sometimes people inside their Hillybergs, they'll sleep with their rain jacket or Gore-Tex jacket over the feet section of their sleeping bag if condensation does get to be a problem, because in these tunnel tents you've got the back end of the tunnel tent is tapered down more, whereas the front end of the tunnel tent, as you can see, is wide open. That's so you can sit up. It's all about saving weight. There's not as much need for height at the back end because that's where your feet are. It's really important in any two-layer tent like this is to make sure that your interior layer is not touching the exterior layer. There needs to be a gap. Let's just have a look up here and I'll show you down the side there. You see that gap in between the two layers of tent, and these elastic straps just hold it all in place. And just here we've got the Hillyberg clothesline, man, for hanging up smelly socks. Not exactly sure about the load capacity of that washing line. Just came outside to do a bit of work, just gather some more water, checking on the tent. The temporary patch is holding up. Once we get back to our house, we'll do a proper, more permanent patch to fix up the tent, hopefully match the colour, but black seems to blend in pretty well. Look at that, you can't even see it from a distance. Yesterday, washed my clothes, still got them hanging up. There's my socks. Obviously they're completely saturated, but tomorrow is going to be a really sunny day. So I'll just dry everything on my backpacks as I hike, on our backpacks. Look at that, man, ice. We've got a bit of hailstones coming through. See the tent covered in leaves. Not a problem, man. And there's the foot end of the tent. Look at that. Bit of airflow underneath. Provided you've got a bit of a gap there, that's where your fly is not touching the ground. You'll usually have really nice airflow. And not too much condensation. Right there in the vestibule. Hello, Christina.
Yes.
Say hello.
Hello. Just making water.
So as you can imagine, all the air just flows straight through and dries us out. Only a tiny bit of condensation on the inside. That's expected in these kind of conditions. It's been raining continuously almost for 12 hours. Cheese food? Freeze-dried cheese, man. Your favourite, yeah?
Like a cheese.
Normally cheese is like only about 1.5% salt, but because all the water's been sucked out of it, it really brings it up to about 3 or 4% salt, so it's really tasty, man. Freeze-dried food actually tastes better than the natural form because all the water's sucked out, you're actually left with more flavour. Oh yeah. And it lasts forever, campers. The best before date is normally at least 2 years on these packs, but who knows how long that it would actually keep for, maybe 5, 10 years. The ultimate zombie apocalypse food. Maize from South Africa with a bit of Royco Usabi mix, you can see there. And then we've got freeze-dried chicken breast, just rehydrating. You can see the water mixed in. There's our freeze-dried veggies rehydrating, so just add water and then they start to take on their natural texture. And the smell is very strong, very fresh. So freeze-drying of food, really not many nutrients are lost. It's a really high-quality way of preserving food without any added chemicals. Soy Mini is drip filtering at a fairly consistent pace. You'd probably get about 4 litres per hour at that speed, maybe 5 litres. So it's completely effortless though, not like pump filters where you have to sit there and expend calories just to make water. Something I've mentioned in previous videos is if you are going to leave your shoes outside, make sure they're tied onto something. So I got my shoes are clipped on. There are wild dogs in this area. Don't underestimate wild dogs and what they will do when they're bored. They'll drag away your equipment just for fun. Quick pillow idea, campers. So this is just for extra comfort. Some hikers like to make a pillow out of folded up pieces of equipment, like their jacket folded up. So these air pillows, it's pretty much like sleeping with a balloon under your head. It can be uncomfortable. That's why I tie it onto the thermarest. You can see behind here I've got the ropes, just a piece of gear rope tied on to each side, quite tight. So the pillow won't move around as I'm sleeping, because without the rope you'll wake up every couple of hours and trying to find your pillow in the dark, because they do move, because there's really nothing to them. They're just basically plastic filled with air.
It's like a soup.
Dinner time.
That is my, whoa, it's cooked already. That is my hot chocolate.
Good morning, day 4. We've been in the tent now for more than 40 hours, just waiting for this rain to stop. We're getting regular weather forecasts, so we're hoping that the rain will stop by 11 o'clock, because it's still a 3-day march to get out of here. Back outside again. I've got the Hillyberg rigged up in a slightly different configuration. This is a trick I learnt watching videos on the internet. So all I've got is just a piece of cloth there with a carabiner holding that part of the fly up on the internal pole. This way we can stay dry but continue to come in and out of the tent without damaging the zipper. So here's the main zip on the Hillyberg. Right there's the zipper. But we don't want to overuse the zip continuously, because sometimes, as you know, zips can jam up and break, and we definitely don't want that to happen, because then rain would be coming in. We'd be stuck inside the tent with no door. One last satellite message, campers. Weather report. This is what I've been waiting for. Let's have a quick scroll through it. So I click on the day. You can see in the bottom right corner there it says 0%, 12 p.m, 0%, 2 p.m, 0%, 4 p.m, 6 p.m, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Great weather forecast, man. Usually extremely accurate. Considering, look at that. So 0 centimetres, 0% rain. And we know we're safe to truck on out now. Look at this natural shelter inside an old tree. There's actually a dry spot right there, obviously completely sheltered from the rain. As long as you weren't afraid of insects and spiders, you could sleep in there the night. It's pretty flat too, look at that.
How about the leech?
Yeah, there'll be leeches there too, probably. And life carries on, man. Look at that, there's even a fresh native tree growing right at the stump of the old one. Probably a seed off the mother plant of the larger tree. I think one thing to be aware of is this thing looks like it's going to fall down sometime soon. You wouldn't want to be camped in there when it does finally fall down. Particularly if it falls in that direction. If it went the other way, you'd probably be okay. This is the 4th night of our camp. And one lesson is that no campsite is absolutely perfect. In this case, we've got pretty flat ground where our beds will be. The front end of the vestibule, that's a bit slopey, but where our mattresses will be, we're actually quite perfectly flat. Downhill, we've got water. Above our heads, well, that branch there, if that falls, it'll probably land kind of here on the road. So everything's looking sort of 90% perfect until suddenly we realised there's literally a European wasp nest right there. I'll just come in real close, hopefully not to make them angry. I've already been stung once. See if we can get them on camera. There they are there, look. That's the entrance to the nest. I'm taking a risk getting this close to them. You see them yellow and black little insects right there. Oh, get back. They're going to attack. Christina got stung on the face, didn't you, sweetie, once? We didn't even realise there was a nest there until suddenly she got stung when she was tying down the front end of the tent, of the fly. Anyway, on the bright side, once the sun goes down, that nest will go to sleep, and tomorrow morning we'll definitely be leaving before sunrise. So, by leaving before the sun rises, what's in there? What's happened is the foot of the tent's just come loose from the bit that hides. All you have to do is push it in. We'll fix that easy. All that's happened is this section of the tent. I just have to pull that back and hook it back onto the fly. It's simple, easy. Probably about 15 litres of water there. That'll be for washing our dishes and even drinking water tomorrow morning at breakfast and cooking for tonight. Dinner time and the wasps are asleep now.
Oh my goodness.
Slight change of plans, campers. We kind of slept in a bit. Couldn't find anywhere to make a clothesline to dry out my clothes, so just a couple of sticks poking out of the ground, capturing what little sunlight we're getting. Gradually the sun is coming out from behind those trees. Camped on an old abandoned road. There's our wood pile. So you just slowly push those long lengths in as they burn. Some of them are a bit wet, but as they get closer and closer to the burning point, they just dry out. There's the tent. Because we're on an old road, the ground is extremely hard, so as you've seen us done before. Guy lines are tied onto logs. Just here, it's an ant nest. Got to be careful not to disturb them. They're all asleep now. One little bump and they'll all come running out, and they do have stingers. They will bite you. We call them jumping jack ants. Dinner's on the table, almost. Got a nice little seat there for me to sit on. Finally, a day of sunlight, man. Day 5. Finally, my clothes are starting to dry. I washed them like 3 days ago. They're still hanging there. I had them on the back of my backpack all day today as I was hiking. It's another way of drying out your gear. Just any clothes that are still wet that you want to dry out, just hang them on your backpack on a sunny day as you hike along, and they gradually dry. Freeze-dried potatoes. Later on tonight, when I've got a really nice bed of coals on that fire, we're going to bake some bread. We've got flour in the backpacks. We'll knead that up and make some damper. Good way of having your fire and at the same time minimising the amount of work you have to do. Instead of splitting logs, just slowly move them all in. Still using the old trick of using the map to fan the fire. So if the fire starts to die down a bit, we'll use that to just fan some air onto it. So once again, freeze-dried veggies, meat and rice with a simple flavour pack we bought at the supermarket. 50 grams of rich, beefy mince. Beautiful, it smells really nice, campers. Unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision, so we can't share the smell with you. Once you mix up the dough, just make them into these small pancake size thingamies. As you can see, I've got the fire or the gas on low as possible. Here's one that was prepared earlier with a bite mark in it. Christina had a bite of it. Look at that, doesn't look like much, but it's all we've got out here, man. It's bush bread.
Tastes good, man.
Tastes good? You can always add extra ingredients. You can add sugar, sultanas, cinnamon, whatever you like.